This video is for people who like market geometry drawing tools. I'm going to show examples of how to draw the poor man's ellipse. I'm assuming you've watched the poor man's ellipse video and you've got some familiarity with how to draw it, but you're not an expert yet. That video was done with the EUR/USD daily. This one's going to be gold, the exchange traded fund, GLD. I've already marked up the GLD file with the first example. These are the pivots. You have to find 4 pivots, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And you draw a triangle between pivots 2, 3, and 4. It's always 2, 3, and 4. So that's the triangle. Now we'll take the free ellipse and just click anywhere outside of 2, outside of 3, and outside of 4. We have to take the leftmost anchor, drag it to the 0 pivot, and that just stays there. Then we take the top one here, we drag it to about 3. We want either the arc or the diagonal line going through the apex of the triangle. It could be either one, but for starters we'll just do it like this. Then I'll take 4, the pivot by the anchor by 4, and I'll just start dragging it out. What I want to do is find something that shows me I've got some market geometry in effect here. And if you're not sure what that meant, I'll explain it in just a moment. And that looks just about right. I'm getting several things here. So let's take a look. I can see that over here, this diagonal line is acting as a trend line here. That's nice. And I can see this diagonal line is acting as a resistance level for these pivots here. I could probably enhance this a little bit by moving it around, maybe like right there. That would probably be better. Now why is that? Well, because then the arc would act as a breakout for this congestion range here. But as it stands, you know, we'll just leave it like this for now and take a look at what we've got. Well, we seem to have done a pretty decent job of catching the approximate top here and the support levels here. And of course the support level here. And it depends on how you view this. We had a strong trend going, but then you can see the rapid acceleration. But mainly, we got ourselves a support here, a support here, a support here, a support here, breakout from the range, from here to here, then another breakout. So you can see that the market geometry is in play. And of course, as a move develops, you know, because you would draw this triangle when prices would be about here. As it develops, you know, you would just basically keep on finding different points of interest. And as the move develops, keep moving it out, making sure that you maintain the market geometry aspects of it. So let's move on to the next one. So I'm going to start with the next one going up, and then we'll start a couple going downtrend. This will be another uptrend one. To avoid confusion, let me just zap these guys here. So I'm starting over here. You know, we had sideways chop and then a little pivot here. So you could say this is a new trend here. This will work. You don't have to start at the very beginning of a rally that lasts over half a year, which is what gold had. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. You draw the triangle between 2, 3, and 4 always. There it is. Free ellipse outside of 2, outside of 3, outside of 4, And let me make it so it's easier to see. And that's easier to see. And then we take the leftmost anchor of the ellipse, drag it to 0. We take this top anchor of the ellipse, and we want, this one's a little more difficult because as you can see we're covering a lot of ground. So let me adjust this. That should just about do it. But not, let me just move the chart down a little. Running out of real estate here. Okay, so I'm still at 0 here. And now I want to drag this puppy so that at the very least, you know, this is a good way to start. And then we'll take this rightmost, this is our optimizer. And we're going to optimize. And see what we can get. I'd like to touch this area here and see what happens. As you can see, that's a fairly decent optimization. And right off the bat, I can see, right now, even though this is still history, you can see I've got a touch here. I've got a trend line. You can see how price is moving along the trend line here. You can see I've got both the arc and the diagonal here. So I'm optimizing. Curve fitting. Market geometry, curve fitting is good. So, can I get that a little bit? For now, we'll just leave it like this. And we can see that we seem to have this acting as a support. And then the break happens. You can also see that this is almost acting like a channel line. So there's some effect here. It's not particularly dramatic, but you can keep manipulating this, moving it around so that you get different optimization effects on the historical part of your chart. And of course, same with this. See, now what I'm doing is I'm taking this as a trend line here. I've basically done two different optimizations and I get two different effects here. This thing, when you have to practice with it, but I would suggest with your optimizer here, moving it and getting different effects, and you'll see that the symmetry in the markets is actually kind of remarkable. That it's not, oh, this is the right way to do this one and there's no other way. No, you can probably do the exact same triangle ellipse combination, and by changing things around you can get some really dramatic results. You know, here I'm staying true because I'm keeping my ellipse on the top of the triangle, still anchored here. And you know, now I'm getting a slightly different effect. Move this up. See, that's also a valid draw, and now I'm saying I'm getting the combination here. Resistance, support, come back, test it, come back, ride it up. And when I look to the left, I get a tighter channel. What we're going to do next is start a series of downtrend ellipses. And to do that, let me move these guys around. Get them out of the way and move them around to where we want them. That didn't work. There we go. I'm going to make the start of the downtrend right here, which makes this guy here 1, 2. This be a big ellipse. 3, 4. We're probably going to have to rescale our chart again, but we can do that. And you draw a triangle between 2, 3, and 4. Yeah, right there. Let's compress the chart a little. So right outside 2, right outside 3, and right outside 4. And we have to drag this guy here to 0 to start. We have to draw our 3 point. We'll start it right over here. And then this becomes our optimizer. This guy right here. And that's a pretty obvious one. We need to compress our chart some more. Oops, so I almost had exactly what I wanted. And you know, for starters, we can take a look at what we've got. To optimize on the historical data, you can see a nice curve here. There's my resistance level. And on the historical data, we can see price fell down to this line, and then it reacted back up to here. I think I've got my free ellipse drawn a little bit too, I don't know how easy that is to see. So let me change it to, just for a moment. You can see that price went down here and then curved up along with the ellipse, pretty much exactly like it did over here. And then when it touched this point, you can see over here it's touching and it's riding it up, keeps riding it up. So that's just for starters. Then you can keep doing. You can extend this one out a little bit more. Get a little bit more of a trend line feel there. Now I'm just extending it out to see that I'm touching these trend lines, that trend line. The trend line's touching these pivots. And when you go out to the right, we'll see what we find. But nothing too dramatic. But that's still holding right there. You can see how it's acting as a support momentarily, and then you can see the breakout. So something's there. Something's there. Take my... Now what am I doing? I'm using similar geometry. I can see my arc is going through a pivot, and over here you can see I have a much truer trend line under here. But at the same time, you can see how see, isn't that interesting? Simply by moving and optimizing on a different part of the historical data, I'm still getting pretty good results over here. You can see, I don't know how easy that is to see, so let me darken it. Historically, I'm getting a pivot here. My diagonal is acting like a clear, obvious trend line on historical data. And when I get over here, I can see the effect of the arc, and that's very interesting. So again, this style of trading is not for everybody. I mean, if you're more of a statistically based technical trader, this is an abomination what you're looking at right now. If you're more of a visual person to whom statistics just aren't reliable and you can't see an effective way of using them, you're primarily more of a right-brained, artistic, visual person, then this is a wonderful tool. Not to be used alone, of course. You couldn't possibly use this by itself, but in complement with the other tools that we have for finding pivots, for finding support resistance levels, the trade management, then all of a sudden this just becomes another valuable tool that you can use. Now don't forget, we have the charting panel. You can actually draw several ellipses and just check the ones off. For example, we saw two different ellipses using this triangle that gave us decent results. So you can, in point of fact, uncheck them and only see one, then uncheck it and check the other one. So you can have several ellipses on the same triangle. Let's see if we can't find anything else. Let's get rid of this whole thing. And we'll try another, I'd like to do another downtrend one, because primarily we've been focusing on the uptrends. The interesting thing about market geometry is you can use any of these significant pivots. Like for all we have to do is shove this over. We would make this 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's just see what happens just for fun. If you've got the idea already, of course, there's no reason to tag along and watch, but if you're interested in this sort of stuff, why not hang around a few more minutes? Actually, I have absolutely no idea what's going to happen. I haven't looked at this one on my own, so this is going to be a new one for me. Let's do the triangle. You have your choice of points here. So let's do it right there. It's really just an approximation anyway. It doesn't have to be to the tick and all that. This is not an exercise in statistics. 2, 3, 4, got it. Take the free ellipse. The other free ellipse. 1, 2, 3. And we have to take the leftmost one and put it on 0. We take the bottom one and we'll put it to the, that's not an, whatever you call that thing, the bottom of the triangle. And this is our optimizer, so we can have a lot of fun with this one. We need to scroll our chart a little. See, right off the bat, I'm seeing on the historical data, I like how this line connects to that line to this line. So right off the bat, without even doing anything, I'm seeing an interesting effect. All I did was draw this stupid ellipse and drag this point to, and I've got some pretty nice touches here already, so this looks like it's got potential. Now with this guy here, catching that pivot seems like a good idea, doesn't it? What I'm talking about when I say catching that pivot, I'm going to the left part of my chart. I'm trying to optimize it. So you see how I got the arc and the ellipse touching this major pivot right there, and my arc is acting as a resistance level here. And what's happening over here? I get a move up, holds it for a few days, moves up, comes back, tests it, goes back up, breaks through it, comes back to the almost the intersect of the arc and the diagonal line, hugs it for about 5 days, and then breaks through. Where's the breakthrough to? Well, you I don't know what to say about that. I mean, something happened, but it's not tradable. So, and we can keep on changing this puppy. All you have to do is maintain this relationship. And right now, we're primarily not interested in what's happening on the right. We're interested in what's happening on the left historically. So I need to rescale this puppy again. Oh, that's interesting. I lost my anchor. Or, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, I did lose my anchor. It's supposed to... What a shame. Well, that pretty much kills this example, but you saw that one. And, you know, now you're getting a little bit of a touch, and that's still, you can see over here the optimization, the pivots, the arc, the support. So we're optimizing, and what we're getting is, you know, with our second attempt with this ellipse, this breakthrough, come back, test it, and fall. So you can see over here, you know, it's not that much. This isn't that dramatic an ellipse, but you're getting the general idea of how to draw and optimize these guys. So I would recommend, just a recommendation here, guys, allot yourself at least an hour, get your favorite beverage, nice music, and just practice. And if after an hour you say, hey, this is just too abstract, but for people who are visually oriented, this is something that you might find useful.